I've been seeing a lot of full tang axes on the market. And what is the deal with that? We have a tried and true method when it comes to axe making, or do we? That's what I'd like to figure out in the video today. So thank you for joining me. Let's get into it. So, Timber Knives, you know them, you love them. Sponsors of the channel, really awesome dudes. They had these sitting on the shelf. And I was like, what is the deal with these? And they're like, oh, it's our axe design, you know? These are the berserkers. So they already sold me on that. I'm a lover of Viking culture and Norse culture. And so I had to have one. So I had them custom make me this big old hunkus with some red micarta because I wanted it. That's what I just wanted it. But now that I have it, the thought has crossed my mind, what is the use case scenario for this axe? I mean, is this going to replace my Grand's Force Brooks or my custom Viking axe? I don't know. Is it going to replace my self-defense fighting full tang tomahawks? I don't know. But that's what I'd like to get into today. So thank you for joining me as I come to figure out if this axe is worth it. And if it is worth it, what's the use case for a full tang axe? Let's get into it. Big shout out today to today's sponsors, Summit Watch Club, for always providing the best watches. If you're looking to get a watch, check out Summit Watch Club. They've got a bunch of phenomenal brands, great people over there. They're close friends of mine. So go check them out if you're looking to purchase your first watch. And our second sponsor for the day, Timber Knives. Go check them out. Oh, I also have a Summit Watch Club hat on, so I'm just dripped out in the sponsor swag. They're good buddies of mine. But go check out Timber Knives. They make the axe I use to carve. And they got a great selection of knives. They got a great selection of axes. If you're looking to get your next axe or a knife, definitely check out Timber Knives. Back to the video. Now, let's first talk about the design of the axe. Now, the design of the axe is a full tang blade with this swelled, curved handle. Comes up, goes straight into the blade with a kydex sheath. I added this little piece of leather, but it is a bearded Viking axe, full tang construction. Now, your typical Viking axe that you'd be used to is something like this big old war axe with a beard, very famous and popularized due to the television show Vikings. This one is a thick boy, as you can tell, and these things are fantastic. But these are made for ripping down shields and fighting and a little bit of bushcrafting. But if you really want to get into bushcrafting, what you're going to be looking into is probably something along the lines of this custom that I made out of a Grand's Force Brooks. And this is traditionally a carpenter's axe that I have reground to get a better handle and get my fingers all the way up here, and also kind of weatherized and tore up and everything and gave it my own flavor and spin. But this is my go-to everything axe. This is what I take into the mountains with me. This is the love of my life, the axe of axes. The axes I have tattooed onto my neck and all over my body. I love axes, and this is the end-all be-all when it comes to axes. So I want to know, can this hang with this? Can this be the new Viking axe? Can this be my new love of axes? Can this do all my survival and bushcrafting and woodsman stuff? Can it hold up to the tried and traditional hand forged with a wooden handle, the good old classic that our history has become and been made of? This is a time-worn classic. Can this new upcomer timber knives berserker really hold up? That's what I'd like to figure out. And if it can't hold up with this, then what is the use case scenario for this axe? Is it something to replace something like the Winkler tomahawk or these more tactical tomahawks that you're seeing nowadays on the market? This is a remake of a Winkler tomahawk, and this is made by Ancient Smithy. This is a wicked little tomahawk. This thing is mean as can be. Look at that head. I mean, that is a mean blade. This is a full tang with my card handles as well that I have some goon tape on. It's got 3 positions for the handles, super comfortable. And this is a combat fighting utility weapon. So is that where this blade is going to lie, in the tactical combat section? Well, maybe. I don't know. Let's figure that out. Let's go outside and do some tests and see if this Timber Knives Berserker is worth its weight in cash. Alright, now one of the use cases, and the specific use cases for the bearded axe, is the Vikings, the Norse. They were carpenters. They'd make their boats and everything, mainly using the axe as a tool. So what I want to see is, can we do some carving and some planing and some simple uses with these axes? Now we have the tried and true, the legendary, right here. Let's see how it does on the carving. Super easy, comfortable in the hand. Can do some nice carving and notching. Can also take off this bark. And this is very comfortable in the hand. Great edge geometry for cutting through this wood, getting through this bark. I mean, this is just one of those blades that they know what they've been doing for hundreds of years, and they know how to make a really comfortable, great carving axe. I like putting my finger up here for a little more control, but if you're trying to get a little more gusto, you can full knuckle it down to really get on it. And you get a lot of control if you're doing some chopping to make like a tent stake or a sharpened spear point. This really lends itself to being very easy to control for carving, whittling, and also chopping. Nice little point right there. Now let's check out the Timber Knives Berserker. Same piece of wood, same deal. Let's start with the notch. Really great edge they've put on this over at Timber. And really great at carving that notch. But the one thing I will say is not as comfortable in the hand. Maybe I should throw some paracord right here to give me a little more comfort. But that's to be expected where I'm just holding this thin piece of steel. Where on the other axe, I get this full piece of wood and this piece of leather that I've put onto it to add to the comfort. But the carving for that notch, really easy. They put a great edge on this to do some nice carving. Now let's see about taking some of this bark off. Really good at taking this bark off. But yet again, I'm running into that issue of it is digging into my hand a bit. So I am going to go higher up right here on the handle and see how we can control it to make a tent stake. Really sharp edge. I am actually going to hold it back a little further, and I can still get some pretty good control holding it further back. Make a nice little tent stake. I guess I could sharpen that up a little bit more. Really easy to control as well. Right back here to make that sharp point. Now let's get on to the chopping. What every axe should be able to do phenomenally well is chop through a piece of wood. Now, I have taken down some trees with this. Of course, I've taken trees with my tried and true. And from my experience, this does phenomenally well at chopping down trees. I'll insert a part of a video I took a little while ago of me chopping down a little dead tree with this right here. Now back to the video. First off on the chopping block, the Timber Knives Berserker. Let's see how you do. Super deep cut. Alright, 5 chops and we're through. Same piece of wood, nothing's gonna change except for the axe. Now to this guy right here, we'll even do a thinner piece. Getting through there. And just like that, I completely forgot to count. But both of these, I would say, are very similar when it comes to chopping and cutting down trees. Now, what about splitting wood? We know these can cut and bite and eat into a piece of wood and chop through them increasingly well. These are the tools for the job when it comes to chopping through stuff. But what about splitting? This definitely has the advantage with it being wider as a traditional axe with a larger eye, where this is just a thick piece of steel, but it's not even close to the width. It's like 1/3 of the width. So let's try some splitting. We've got this piece of wood right here, and we are going to split it down the middle. Now, the reason I'm splitting it down the middle instead of coming from the top is on these taller pieces. It's easier to split them while laying down, and it's a lot safer for me. Getting right through that knot right there. And what's nice about this and splitting it long ways is I'm getting all these nice thin pieces that I'll be able to take my knife and carve down and process. And these will light really well when making a fire, getting to the nice dry wood inside. Get her right here. And that's getting me to all of the internals of this wood. I think one more right here should do it. Let's see. And just like that, we're able to get to the center of this wood where it's nice and dry, and we can get some nice shavings to strike a ferro rod. And it doesn't take that much. Here's a little trick I learned, especially with axes. Embed the axe down and run this piece of wood across the blade on a stump or another piece of wood. And you can get all these nice fine shavings to strike a fire. So of course we know this axe is a tried and true bushcraft favorite. Now let's see how the timber holds up. And just to make it even harder on the timber, I'm going to be doing a bigger piece of wood to show you guys how this thing just smacks. Now it doesn't have the same width as the other axe, so of course it's not going to be splitting as well considering how much thinner it is, but still getting through that wood like no other. Look at that. Just a beautiful split. Let's keep going right here. Just processing it down. Getting more of these thin pieces to work with. Let's go right here for the middle. And just like that, just eating through this wood. We can even do something like this where we hold it and smack it down, but I always like the good old traditional chopping and splitting, and this thing just eats through this wood. You see how much it's splitting through this much larger piece, even though it doesn't have the width, it just eats through it. Now let's see, same trick that I showed you before, bury it right there, just run it across. Man, this thing might be better at feather sticking too. Gotta find that edge geometry and then we're off to the races. So making a nice little feather stick, some nice curls. And I mean, this thing splits phenomenally well for how thin it is. I mean, just eats through wood. I mean, we got firewood for days. If you can't start a fire with all these thin pieces of wood, you're doing something wrong. If you are doing something wrong, go check out my How to Start a Fire with a Ferro Rod. This thing just kills it. Let's see this little piece right here. We could even just baton this little piece right in half. Like nothing. Just exploded it. I'm having so much fun, you know. Let's just take the middle right off this guy we did. Right there. Just cracked right through. Got to the juicy center of that piece. Now, of course, the main purpose of the Viking axe, besides wood carving and building in battle, was getting through a shield wall. Now we got our Viking shield right there. Let's see how these do. First off, the tried and true, the classic axe splitter. Right in. Woo! Look at that. Just demolished your hand right there, sliced it right open. If I was an Englishman holding that shield, I wouldn't want to get hit by this. Right in. Now let's see the Timber Knives Berserker. Ooh, right into the handle. I think this might be the end of our Viking shield for reviews. So let's send it off with a bang with the Timber Knives Berserker. Get the whole axe through here. See this? Right in. Tell you what, if I was holding this axe and some Viking was swinging at me, taking apart my axe, I would be having a very bad day. Look at that. Let's see it on the tire. Whoo! Right into that tire. This thing is an absolute beast. Right through. But Red, what about the tactical situation for this axe? Can it hold up to a tactical situation? Well, it does have this nice little spike on the back. Let's see how it does with this solid piece of brick. And she's holding up quite nicely. I got a bunch of shrapnel on me. Broke off a piece. Made a nice little divot. So if you're tearing apart somebody's car or their house, I mean, this will definitely do the job. This 80 CRV is nothing to joke about. Just like that, right through. So if you want to take apart somebody's house, go ahead and do that with the Berserker. He huffed, he puffed, he pulled out his Timber Knives Berserker and blew your fucking house away. Now, concluding thoughts on the Timber Knives Berserker axe. I mean, it fills all the spots you could possibly think of for a tactical axe. I mean, if you're looking for something in a tactical space for up close, getting personal with the blade as a fighting implement, I mean, you can grip up on this. Maybe wrap a little paracord around this part of the tang just to make it a little more comfortable. But even with that, you can easily come up close, hit somebody in the face, do some serious damage, hold it in a backwards grip as a club somebody up. If they get too close, come up with the blade to beat them, which is the design on most of these tactical axes, including the Winklers and this knockoff. So it definitely covers all the bases. You won't have any complaints if you're looking to get this for a tactical application. But what I was really curious about is the more bushcrafting outdoors side of things. Now, of course, the bushcrafters are never going to replace their hand-forged wooden handle. It's a vibe. It's a look. It's a aesthetic when you are a bushcrafter. You want everything to be natural. You want the leather. You want the wood. You want the iron. There's just a feeling to that. I don't think the Berserker is looking to those types of people. I think the classification the Berserker lands itself perfectly in is a little in the middle of everywhere. I mean, it can fit all of your tactical applications. It can definitely perform all of your bushcraft applications and handles them really great. And also handles all your survival situations. If you just throw this in the truck and forget about it, whenever there's a fallen tree in your way, or you're out with your buddies and you just want to start throwing an axe into the tree, this'll do it. In my time hanging out, running through the mountains with this, I mean, it's great at throwing, it's great at cutting down trees. It performs every possible thing I can think of very well, including some destruction. I mean, I've been beating this thing up. I've been cutting through nails. We just broke through a brick, chopping through a mock-up Viking shield. I mean, there's a lot of applications for this axe to be very nice. Even the pummel right there to smack somebody on top of the head. So if you're looking for an all-around together, does everything great axe, this is a perfect option for you. And if you like the Viking aesthetic as I do, I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's a fantastic blade. They do it at a great price. It's held up amazingly. The ADCR V2 still holds an edge like no other. It's nice, it's tough, it's comfortable. I know Timber Knives has a couple others of these in the shop. So if you're looking to get one, please check them out. Hit them up on Instagram if they're not on the website yet. Tell them to get it on the website. You want to buy one right now. Just an absolute beast of a blade, the Berserker. Phenomenal. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this on the channel. I want to do a history on Viking and bearded axes. So be looking forward to that video soon. And another thing, I did want to point out, Timber Knives is a sponsor of the channel. They did make this for me, but they didn't give me any talking points. They gave it to me because I saw it at the shop and I said, hey, I'd like one of those. Can you make one for me with red micarta? And they came through with this absolute beauty. And I mean, I've been beating on this thing for a minute. And I'll tell you guys truthfully, you know, it's not going to split wood as good as a full-size axe. But for what I like an axe for, which is bushcraft, survival, carving, all that, I'm never going to grab an axe this size for splitting wood. I have splitting axes for that. But for an axe to keep in my vehicles or to throw in my pack on an adventure, I mean, I think this is a home run. The only thing I would personally change about it, if I were designing it, would be to bring that handle all the way up. Now, you do have fear of breaking that handle or beating that handle up while smashing through, but I do like the use case of being able to grip it a little more comfortably high up here. Might end up paracording this piece so I can get a little more carving done with it, but all around together, phenomenal blade. Go check them out. Timber Knives Berserker. This thing is the Berserker axe, And I know my ancestors, if they could have held this thing, they'd say hell yeah as well. So, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching the video. Until next time, go get lost, find a way. Peace.